Edinburgh Eastern, Musselburgh and Tranent, and fighting for safer schools for our children and our teachers.
I'm Cain Demanji, I'm the candidate for Stirling, and I'm fighting for 1,500 new classroom assistants.
Mark Griffin, candidate for Uddingston and Bells Hill, fighting for 125,000 homes.
James Adams, Glasgow, Kelvin, Mary Hill. I'm fighting for Glasgow because Glasgow desperately needs change.
Lindsay Hamilton, Clydesdale, fighting for safer maternity services for mums and babies.
Mike MacLeod for the Orkney Islands. I'm fighting to fix Orkney's housing crisis.
Davy Russell, Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. Got better applause this time than I did the last time. I'm fighting to get rid of council house waiting lists. There are thousands and thousands of people out there, and the SNP don't care about them, but I care about them.
I'm Katrina Munro, Edinburgh South Western. I'm fighting to fix the housing emergency in Edinburgh.
I'm Cheryl Cruikshank, I'm standing in Dundee East, and I'm fighting for 9,000 new high-quality apprenticeships for our kids.
Afifa Khan, I'm from Midfife and Glenrothes. I'm fighting to make sure every kid achieve their full potential.
I'm Kate Blake from Aberdeenshire West, and I'm fighting for rural health and social care services delivered where people live.
I'm Fiona Sword, Cowdenbeath, and I'm fighting for proper investment in our public services.
I'm Michael Mara, candidate for Dundee City West, fighting for the 1 in 4 kids in Dundee born in poverty.
I'm Brian McGinley, standing for Ayr, Prestwick and Troon, and I want our young people to have the best future.
I'm Jenny Young, I'm standing in Bathgate, and I'm fighting for the kids I taught in West Lothian schools.
I'm Jenny Lang, Aberdeen Central. I'm fighting to fix the NHS and cut waiting lists in Aberdeen Royal Infirmary.
Brilliant.
Monica Lennon, Rutherglen, Cambuslang and Blantyre, where I'm fighting to end child poverty, fix our NHS, better buses and improve women's health once and for all.
I'm Matthew Lee, I'm standing in Aberdeen Deeside and North Kincardine, and I'm fighting for a truly just transition for oil and gas workers.
Excellent.
I'm Arshad Ahmed, Edinburgh Northwest, ready to fight our Save Our NHS.
I'm Jordan Soko from Amman Valley, and I'm fighting to push power out of Holyrood and to empower our communities.
What a devolution.
I'm Aisha Khan, Motherwell Wisher, and I'm fighting to stop the SNP's decision to downgrade Wisher's NICU.
I'm Colette McDermott for Strathkelvin and Bearsden, and I'm fighting for social care staff to make sure that they get the pay that they deserve.
I'm Oliver Thomas for Edinburgh North Eastern and Leith, and I'm fighting for my patients who've been let down for too long.
I'm Muris Jasmine, I'm studying Glasgow Annisland, and I'm fighting to bring back the family doctor.
I'm Caitlin Scott, I'm standing for Midlothian North, and I'm fighting for safer communities and safer streets.
I'm Cal McNally, I'm standing for Clydebank Mulgai, and I'm fighting to properly invest in our communities again.
I'm Matthew McGowan, standing for Cunningham North, and I'm fighting to end SNP waste and restore respect to the public's money.
I'm Neil Bibby. I'm from Paisley, for Paisley, fighting to ensure that every child has the chance to learn how to swim.
I'm Suzanne Graham for Clackmannanshire and Dunblane, and I'm fighting for a better future for all our young people.
I'm Francesca Brennan, standing in Inverclyde. I'm fighting to stop Malcolm Offord and stop Farage's reforms poison gaining a foothold here in Scotland.
I'm Eleanor Ryan Saha. I'm standing for Edinburgh Northern. I'm fighting for children like my daughter who need specialist ASN classroom assistance.
I'm Kieran Higgins, standing for Coatbridge and Christstown and fighting for every patient and member of staff at Monklands Hospital.
I'm Sean Fraser, candidate for Inverness and Nairn, and I'm fighting to put the Highlands at the heart of a new government.
I'm Claire Baker and I'm standing in Kirkcaldy and I'm fighting to bring back NHS dentistry across the Kirkcaldy Sea.
I'm James McPhillamy, standing in Cumbernauld and Forsyth, and I'm fighting to ensure that every family in my community and across Scotland has a safe, secure and affordable home.
Paul O'Kane for Renfrewshire West and Leven Valley, fighting to restore a world-leading education system and ensure that the only limit on our young people is their own ambition.
I'm Suzanne MacLeod and I'm standing in Airdrie, and I am fighting for jobs, apprenticeships and meaningful work experience for all of the people of Airdrie, Shop and the surrounding villages.
I'm Ewan McPhee. I'm standing for Kilmarnock and Irvine Valley, and I'm fighting to make sure that our amazing nurses and all our NHS staff have the resources and support they desperately need.
I'm Polly McNeil, and I'm really proud to be standing in Glasgow, Baillieston and Shettleston. I'm fighting for more community police officers to make our streets safer. That's what all our communities want.
I'm Joe Fagan, I'm standing in East Kilbride and I'm fighting for fair funding for our local services and the key workers who provide them.
Okay, I'm Paul Sweary. I'm proud to be standing in Easterhouse and Springburn in Glasgow, where I'm from, and I'm fighting to bring buses in Glasgow back under public control after 30 years.
And for those that don't know me, I'm Jackie Bailey. I'm standing in Dumbarton constituency to make it 7 in a row and to fix the NHS in Scotland. Can I ask you to thank all our wonderful candidates who are now going to take their seats. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. This election matters because it's about a very simple choice. More of the same with John Swinney and the SNP after 20 years of failure, or change with Scottish Labour. Because after 2 decades in office, the SNP have had their chance and they've lost their way. You can see it no more clearly than in our NHS. Waiting lists far too high. Too many people struggling to get a GP appointment. Too many families left worried and frustrated. And too many people unable to get an NHS dentist. Scotland deserves much better than that. We need a government that will stop making excuses, that will roll up its sleeves and get to work fixing the mess. That's the choice we face in May. And Scotland desperately needs change. The truth is, there is only one person who can replace John Swinney and deliver that change. And that is Anas Sarwar. Because Anas knows what it means to care for people. He worked as an NHS dentist. He knows the value of public service. He knows the pressure NHS staff are under. And he knows that when people are worried, in pain, or unable to get the care they need, you don't just simply shrug your shoulders and look for somebody else to blame. You ask, how can we help? That is who Anas is, and that is why he is ready to lead, ready to fix our NHS, ready to get the basics right, ready to bring Scotland together, and ready to deliver the change our NHS and our country needs. So if you want a First Minister who will do whatever it takes to fix our NHS, a leader who shares the ambition people have for themselves and their families, and a government that will finally deliver real change for Scotland, then there really is only one choice. It is my pleasure to introduce the leader of our party and Scotland's next First Minister, Anas Sarwar.
There's magic where the flowers grow, and beauty where the rivers flow, up over hills and country roads. Scotland is our place called home. I've walked so many miles, the feeling gets stronger. I know it's been a while, but it won't be long, yeah. It's been so long since I've seen you.
Thank you, thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Thank you all so much. Thank you for that amazing introduction. And let's start by hearing it for our brilliant Scottish Labour candidates. All fighting for change, all from different walks of life, from different backgrounds, but all united by one thing: the desire to change their communities and our country, Scotland, for the better, and all determined to win. And friends, let me be clear about our ambition and our goal. It is to win, it is to elect a new First Minister, and it's to elect a Scottish Labour government on the 7th of May. Over the next 6 weeks, we'll be making it clear that after 20 years of SNP government, Scotland needs change, and this is the only party that can deliver it. Because the fact is, only Scottish Labour can beat the SNP. This is the only campaign that can change the government and fix the SNP's mess. This is the only campaign that can change the government and make sure we get the basics right. And this is the only campaign that can win and build a better future for our country, Scotland. And this is the first opportunity any generation to change the government in Scotland, and it's one that we cannot afford to miss. And I say to anyone that underestimates the Scottish Labour Party, this is not an opportunity we will miss, and we will win on the 7th of May. And friends, my first priority and my first loyalty is to my country, Scotland. So I proudly stand in front of you today, thanking you for your support and encouragement, and proudly accepting your trust as our party's candidate to be the next First Minister of Scotland. And the promise I make to you is this. Over the next 6 weeks, I will demonstrate that you can win and change our country by bringing Scotland together, not by dividing Scots. And that will be a stark contrast to the campaigns of our opponents. We know what they'll say about us, and I know what they will say about me. The SNP will say that I'm not for Scotland. Reform will say I'm not Scottish enough. But they misunderstand the mood of our nation. People are fed up of the old politics of division. They want a more positive and hopeful government and a more positive and hopeful future for Scotland. Because, friends, ultimately, there are now two kinds of politician in this country. Those like John Swinney and Nigel Farage, who see problems and use them to divide us, or leaders who see problems, get to work fixing them, and bring our country together in the process. I've never believed that the answer to our problems was to simply shrug our shoulders and say, we can't fix things. And I never will. When I worked as an NHS dentist, every day my colleagues and I rolled up our sleeves and asked, how can we help? What can we do? That is who I am, that is who we are, and that is what this campaign will deliver for Scotland. Because regardless of politics, the overwhelming majority of people in Scotland want the same basic things. They want a country that works, a government that listens, and a future that feels better than the present. And after 20 years in government, the SNP have had their chance and they have lost their way. That's why this election must be about removing them from office and demonstrating that Scotland is a country full of ambition, talent, ideas and resources that should be used to get things done. And I want to say directly to those who support independence. They know my views on independence and a referendum. But even if you disagree with me on Scotland's final destination, that doesn't mean we can't come together and make Scotland better right now. That means no more excuses, no more looking for someone else to blame, but instead new energy, new ideas, new leadership, and a new First Minister that shares the same ambition as the great people of Scotland do. Now, I know lots of people feel scunnered. Worse than that, there are many who feel angry. They know how broken things are and feel as if nothing works. Some of them may be tempted by reform. And I say to them directly, don't be fooled by the Tories in disguise. The same team with a different badge, and reform can't win in Scotland, and they can't beat the SNP. All they risk doing is helping a tired SNP desperately cling on to power, stopping change. And frankly, Scots have seen chances like reform before and rejected them, and I have no doubt they will reject them again. Because, friends, Because, friends, Nigel Farage and Reform don't understand Scotland, don't care about Scotland, and can't change Scotland. But Scotland does need change. The people of Scotland need change. And each and every single one of you see it every day. So if you're stuck on an NHS waiting list, waiting in pain, you need change, and this campaign is for you. If you are working harder and harder, but feel like you're getting less and less in return, you need change, and this campaign is for you. If you are worried about your kids' future and want better opportunities for all our children, you need change, and this campaign is for you. If you are one of the thousands looking for a home or struggling to save to buy your first home, you need change, and this campaign is for you. If you feel unsafe, insecure, and worry about crime and the state of your local community, you need change, and this campaign is for you. So if you agree that Scotland needs change and that it needs a new government that will fix the mess, get the basics right, and build a better future, then this campaign is for you. And what does this change look like? Over the next 6 weeks, we will set out the case for change and what it will mean for you and your family. Not just why we have to beat the SNP, but how we will deliver a government that will fix the mess, get the basics right, and build a better future. How we will win a Scottish Labour government. A Scottish Labour government that will fix our NHS so it's there when you need it. Cut waiting lists, end the ATM rush for a GP, and bring back the family doctor. A Scottish Labour government that will make life affordable, end the waste, and back business to create local jobs. A Scottish Labour government that will put police back where they belong, on our streets, ensuring safety, cracking down on antisocial behaviour, and ending the SNP's soft touch on crime. A Scottish Labour government that will build 125,000 new homes, make rent more affordable, help first-time buyers, and end rough sleeping once and for all. And a Scottish Labour government that will get the basics right by filling the potholes and investing in our communities, restoring our high streets, and getting the economy growing in every part of Scotland. Ultimately, a Scottish Labour government delivering on the hopes and aspirations of the people of Scotland. And friends, let me talk about one area in more detail. If this election is about anything, it must be about the future. And the very definition of our country's future are our amazing young people. But let's be honest, does it feel like we're going to maintain the generational promise of the next generation getting better opportunities than the last? Doesn't feel like it. It feels like that generational promise will be broken. It's why we can't miss this generational opportunity to change the government and set our country, Scotland, on a different, better, and more prosperous path. That means returning Scotland to our historical roots and delivering an education system that sets up our children to succeed. And this is how we'll do it. We'll fix the SNP mess by restoring order in classrooms, by banning mobile phones, protecting our children's mental health, and backing our teachers to improve discipline in the process. We will get the basics right by delivering breakfast clubs in every school so no child ever starts school hungry ever again. And we will deliver support in the classroom with 1,500 additional classroom assistants. At least 300 of these assistants will be located in additional support needs schools and units to support pupils with the highest need. And I can announce today that we will drive up standards in reading, writing, maths and science with 2,000 new specialist teachers to help children who've fallen behind in literacy and numeracy, because we won't leave any child behind. We will get it right for every child, because friends, when I say our young people and education is a priority, I actually mean it. And do you remember when Nicola Sturgeon said education was her top priority? Do you remember who she appointed as Education Secretary to deliver that priority? One young fresh start, John Swinney, apparently. And what was his single biggest achievement as Education Secretary? What will he be remembered for? Well, he was the man that marked down the exam results of working class kids during the pandemic. Shameful. He ignored the judgment of teachers, and the poorest pupils paid the price. Unforgivable. And what message did he send to Scots when he made that decision? He told teachers he didn't trust them, and he told working class young people that he didn't believe in them. So where John Swinney marked kids down in their exams, the promise I make is this, that as First Minister, I will help lift all our children up to make sure they can get on in life. Because the future is at the door. AI is about to change the world of work in unrecognizable ways sooner than we understand. And in an uncertain world, we will build more in Scotland. That's in defence, in energy, and advanced manufacturing. That will open up huge opportunities for young people to have a secure, well-paid career, but only if their government backs them, and only if their government shares their ambition. So again, I make a firm commitment that a Scottish Labour government will maintain free tuition. But we shouldn't pretend that university is the only route to success or the best route for everybody. That's why a Scottish Labour government will back our colleges and apprenticeships too. So take shipbuilding as an example. Just a few miles from here, the next generation of ships are being built, but with hundreds of welders from abroad, because we aren't training enough Scottish young people with the proper skills. So we will build a better future by creating 9,000 new apprenticeships in Scotland in those key industries. That's an apprenticeship guarantee for our young people and for those in the growing sectors where we need the skills. Scotland needs change, and that means delivering a better future for all of Scotland's amazing young people. So this campaign is about Scotland's future, not Scotland's past. And it's a campaign that will seek to bring people together, not use our problems as a way to divide people. Scotland has the opportunity in May to build a better future. It's one we can't afford to miss. So my pledge to the people of Scotland is this: I will be a First Minister for all of us. And no longer will the ambition and hard work of the Scottish people be limited by a lack of ambition from their Scottish Government. Scotland's choice on May the 7th is a simple one: a third decade of SNP government with John Swinney as First Minister, or a Scottish Labour government with me as First Minister. And in constituency after constituency, only Scottish Labour can beat the SNP, and across Scotland, only Scottish Labour can beat the SNP, and only I can replace John Swinney as First Minister. So let's go out there and win this for Scotland. Let's show people that the politics of bringing people together can beat the politics of division. Let's show people that they don't need to accept that this is as good as it gets and that hope and change can win. So if you believe Scotland needs change, then don't miss the opportunity to vote for it. Change to fix our NHS. Change that will help all our young people to succeed. Change to make our streets safer and communities stronger. Change for our towns, cities, villages and islands. Change to fix the mess, get the basics right and build a better future for Scotland. After 20 years of SNP government, Scotland needs change. In 42 days, you can vote for it. So if you want change and a new First Minister, then on May the 7th, vote Scottish Labour. Thank you.
And there's a place I know, there's magic where the flowers grow, and beauty where the rivers flow, up over hills and country roads. Scotland is a place called home. I've walked so many miles, the feeling gets stronger. I know it's been a while, but it won't be long, yeah. It's been so long since I've seen you smile, my friends. I'm waking up every night thinking of all of the places I wanna go. The flags will be flying held up in the sky, will be coming on down the road. But don't forget where we're coming from, my friends.
The press and always the Labour Party respects journalists. I've got Vanessa Taff from ITV.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Malcolm Offord's joke yesterday, obviously racist, Islamophobic. He fancies his chances against you as leader. Your response to that, and speaking of leaders, weeks ago you called for Keir Starmer to go. He's still in position. Is this campaign dead on arrival?
Well, we're interested in changing one job in the next 6 weeks, and that's who the First Minister is and who the occupant of Bute House is. And that's an opportunity we are not going to miss, because John Swinney's had his chance, and he might want to be arrogant and try and pretend he knows the result of this election. I'm going to earn people's trust to make sure we can change the First Minister
Was it
in
arrogant
Scotland.
of you to call for Keir Starmer to go, and he's survived that?
I was honest about my view, and what people need to know in Scotland is they have someone that will put honesty first and put Scotland first, and that's why we need a new First Minister in Scotland. On Lord Malcolm Offord, let me just say about Lord Malcolm Offord. He wants to pretend he is the great champion of both free speech and also working class communities in Scotland. Lord Malcolm Offord, who was a former advisor to Ian Duncan Smith, a former cheerleader for Margaret Thatcher, who served in the governments of both Boris Johnson and Liz Truss. He's the same guy that was in power and screwed the country before and wants to try and screw it again. And frankly, Scotland's seen through his like before, and I've got no doubt they'll see through them again on May the 7th. Thank you. I'll take Dan Sanderson from The Times.
Thanks, Anas. Especially given what's going on in Iran and the cost of living, do you think it's time for the UK government to lift the ban on new oil and gas licences? And also, do you personally support the development of Rosebank and Jackdaw?
Thanks, Dan. Look, it's really important, first of all, in the conflict in Iran, to recognise that it's right that the UK is not part of that military action. It's right that the UK has called out what I personally believe is an illegal action by both the Israeli and US government that has caused even more instability in that region. And I'm someone that has no truck for the Iranian regime, the opposite. But it has caused instability in the region. It's risked lives in the region, and now it risks livelihoods right across the globe. And the best thing that can happen is for that war to end, for there to be a de-escalation, and for peace and prosperity to prevail. But on the serious question you also ask about the oil and gas sector. First of all, I'm a true believer in the just transition. We've got to make sure that the mistakes of the past aren't repeated, where the coal mining industry was shut down and many communities were decimated in the process. And that's why it's right we take a balanced approach. Oil and gas will play a significant role for decades to come. We made a commitment before the last election that we would honour all licences that were granted by the last UK government. I think we should stand by that commitment in terms of the new exploration licences, and you referenced Rosebank and Jackdaw in particular, and we've got to make sure we have a balanced approach going forward. Take the EPL as an example. There was windfall profits from the Russian invasion of Ukraine, and let's be honest, tragically, there'll be those that try to profiteer from the conflict in Iran too. What we need is stability in that region, stability in the markets, and a balanced, grown-up approach to oil and gas and energy. And let me make one more thing clear, which is also a direct link to the decision that people have to make on the 7th of May. If the SNP was serious about a just transition, if they were serious about energy security in this country, they would stop playing childish politics by pretending nuclear weapons are the same as nuclear energy. So on day one of a Scottish Labour government, we will lift the ban on clean nuclear energy, and overnight we will attract billions of investment, thousands of new jobs, and greater energy security here in Scotland. Paul Hutchin from The Record.
Anas, one of the first things that the UK Labour government did was scare disabled people by threatening to cut their benefits, a plan that was quickly abandoned. So, if you're First Minister, can you categorically rule out any cuts to either the Scottish Child Payment or the Adult Disability Payment?
Well, I can absolutely make that commitment, but let me go even further than that, Paul. Is one of the biggest challenges we have in our country is a pretense from this SNP government that the route out of poverty is simply through welfare. I'm a believer in the welfare state because it has to be that safety net and that support to help lift people up. But the reality is this SNP government has undermined the challenges that challenge structural poverty in this country. So how do you address structural poverty? That's by investing in our schools, and too many of our kids don't get the support they need in our schools. It means investing in skills. That's why we'll invest in our colleges and apprenticeships as well as universities. It means employment. That's why we'll attract investment to create new jobs and better paid jobs in this country. It means safe and secure housing. We have 10,000 children homeless in Scotland right now, which is a record of shame for this SNP government. We will give them homes, and we will give them safety and security in those homes. And it also means people feeling safe and secure in their communities, and that's why we'll invest in community policing so we can have people live in better homes, better and more secure communities, and a stronger Scotland in the process. This next Scottish Labour government will challenge structural poverty so we permanently lift families out of poverty rather than simply just going for a sticky plaster approach. I'm I can't see him. I'm looking for Alistair. Oh, sorry, there's Alistair. Alistair Grant from the Scotsman.
Hi there, thanks very much. Can I ask about this letter that's been sent to Kate Watson by local Labour officials in Edinburgh North Western, raising concerns about Irshad Ahmed? There's claims of irregularities in his selection and that he's doing little to no work. Just wondered what your response was to that. So it's obviously extremely unusual to have that kind of attack on a candidate.
Well, let me just say, Alistair, first of all, Kate Watson, as our General Secretary, is focused every minute of every day making sure we have the best campaign in Scotland so we can win on the 7th of May. And so thank you to her and all our amazing staff. And all our candidates are working flat out with one ambition and one ambition only. It's to win and return a Scottish Labour government. I'm proud of each and every single one of them. I know how hard each and every single one of them are working, and we are not going to miss the opportunity of changing the government on the 7th of May. Thank you. I'll take Mark McLaughlin from The Sun.
Good morning. To follow up on Paul's question about benefits, Scottish Child Payment has a cliff edge where if you lose that payment, potentially you'll lose hundreds of pounds. We've heard a survey has shown that people are turning down extra hours and begging bosses not to give them a pay rise so that they can keep this benefit. So would you, if you're not going to cut the child payment, would you reform it to remove that cliff edge so that it always incentivises work?
So a couple of things within that, Mark. First of all is, it's right now we finally have, after the Tories brought in the policy, the end to the two-child benefit cap, which in itself is going to lift tens of thousands of children out of poverty in Scotland and hundreds of thousands of children out of poverty right across the UK. I support the Scottish Child Payment. We will not be cutting the Scottish Child Payment. But is there cliff edges that exist because of how our tax system is designed? Yes, there are. And so we will reform our tax system, committing not to increase tax in the next Parliament, but also having a clear ambition to cut tax in the next Parliament so people don't feel as if they pay more and more and get less and less in return. So we will fix that SNP mess, we will get the basics right, and we'll make sure we're making the right investments to build that better future for Scotland. I'll take Tom Gordon from the Daily Mail, please.
Thanks, Anas. You mentioned education. If there is a Scottish government, how long will it be before a state school is good enough for your children?
Well, my family are in the audience, so as you know, these are discussions that happen in households, and every parent will do what's right for their children right across the country. But let me make one thing absolutely clear, and I said this in my opening contribution. We do not have a system that works right now in Scotland for every child. There are now 43% of children that are classed as having some kind of additional support need. There are classroom sizes now where children aren't getting the one-to-one contact time they should be getting with a teacher in order for them to push ahead and to get the opportunities that come out of school. And that's why I will create an education system that works for every child in every part of the country and make sure that every child is supported to fulfil their ambitions and their dreams. That's another reason why we need a Scottish Labour government after May the 7th. I'll take Rebecca McCurdy from the Herald.
Thanks. Anas, we didn't really get a response to Alistair's question about the letter on Irshad Ahmed. And then secondly, you told voters to hold their nose and vote for Labour. That was a bit of a disaster, wasn't it?
Look, again, I think the problem we have is the narrative of some journalists and commentators is to think that this election is decided or that the outcome's already set. Honestly, I think it shows a deep disconnect with the actual mood there is across the country. So let me first of all say about our candidates. I am proud of each and every single one of our candidates, and I know how hard they are working to deliver a Scottish Labour government after May the 7th and constituency after constituency results across the country. So that's absolutely unequivocal and clear. And that is going to be our ambition between now and the election. And the point I was making at our conference is I recognise that people will have different moods and different feelings about all political parties and about politics as a whole. But the point I'm making directly to people is this election can result in only one of two outcomes. It will result either in a third decade of the SNP in power, with John Swinney as First Minister, or a new government and change for Scotland with a Scottish Labour government and me as First Minister. And so that's the appeal I'm making to people, is if you want to change the First Minister, if you want to change the outcomes for people in Scotland, whether you do it with enthusiasm or anger, the only campaign that can beat the SNP and start the process of change for Scotland is the Scottish Labour Party and this campaign. Stuart Patterson from the Evening Times. Glasgow Times.
Glasgow Times, yes. A lot of your candidates mentioned housing in their introduction, and you've mentioned it as well. In Glasgow, there's more than 3,000 children in temporary accommodation right now. You said you're going to give them homes and end rough sleeping. Are you going to do that within the first term of the Parliament, and how are you going to do that? What is the plan?
Thanks, Stuart. Look, I think it's a fundamental, basic human right that every child should have a home to call their own. And I do not think it's beyond the realms of possibility for us to very quickly end rough sleeping in this country. That will require partnership, of course, with government, local authorities, but also with many of in the private sector, particularly looking at what's happening in our town centres and our high streets. So I want us to move as quickly as possible in the next Parliament to end rough sleeping once and for all. On the broader point you make about homelessness, we have set a firm commitment to build 125,000 new homes in the next Parliament. Now, I'm not going to pretend to you that in 5 years we can eradicate homelessness altogether, but I'm absolutely determined that in the next 5 years we will go a significant way forward in that journey to eradicate rough sleeping, and we'll be of homelessness, and we'll be setting that out in more detail when we launch our manifesto. But that's an ambition that I think is not beyond Scotland. And let me just say a bit more, particularly about what's happening in Glasgow, but also right across the country, is what has happened to the state of this government in Scotland that they think it's a badge of success to think that a 66% increase in rough sleeping in the last 5 years of this government is something to be proud of. A 66% increase in rough sleeping. What badge of success is it to say that they've got a good record on housing and homelessness when 3,000 more children are homeless after 5 more years of an SNP government? Well, I say enough. Enough of the dither, enough of the delay, enough of finding someone else to blame. We're instead going to take responsibility and make sure we finally have a government that backs all of Glasgow and Scotland's children so they can have that better future. I'll take Libby from The Guardian, please.
Thank you. I've just come from the SNP's campaign launch just down the road, and John Swinney said there that a vote for the SNP is a vote to keep reform out of power at Holyrood. Is your response that actually it's a vote for Scottish Labour that achieves that?
Well, again, I think it demonstrates how arrogant and out of touch John Swinney is. Why is he even pretending that reform has a chance of holding power in Holyrood? The only reason why he's doing it is because he thinks it helps the SNP. He wants to push people to reform and talk up reform because he'd rather we talked about the comments of reform rather than on the decisions of his government and the outcomes for people here in Scotland. So we will take John Swinney head on. He can try and run as much as he likes over the course of the next 6 weeks from his record or who he's truly up against in this election campaign, but we will run towards the people of Scotland and persuade them to boot out the tired old faces in the SNP so we can get a new government here in Scotland. Last but not least, Craig Meehan from the PA.
Good morning. So are you categorically ruling out doing a deal with Reform, even if that means John Swinney becoming First Minister instead of you? And then secondly, I see you've brought back the change slogan. You asked voters in 2024 to back change, and then last month you decided you didn't like that change. Why should voters trust you now?
Well, first of all, let me just say on the change people voted for in 2024, I will always be proud of the fact that Scotland led the way, yes, in electing 37 brilliant Scottish Labour MPs that are fighting for Scotland's interests every single day, but also 37 Scottish Labour MPs that got rid of a tired, rotten and out-of-touch Tory government that was doing so much damage to Scotland every single day. And the point I made the day after the general election was that was only halfway of the journey to deliver the change that Scotland actually needs. And we are going to complete that journey on the 7th of May by removing the SNP from office and having a Scottish Labour government and a Scottish Labour First Minister after the 7th of May. On the point you make about reform, let me make it absolutely fundamentally clear. No coalitions, no deals, no stitch-ups. We are not going to touch reform because they are a distraction in this election campaign, not the alternative in this election campaign. The only thing reform can do is create the noise and help keep the SNP in power. And the only thing I'm interested in is getting the SNP out of power and delivering a new government and change for Scotland. And we're going to go out and win that together, aren't we, folks? Thank you all so much. Thank you.
There's a place I know. There's magic where the flowers grow, and beauty where the rivers flow, up over hills and country roads. Scotland is our place called home. I've walked so many miles.